make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in?
It's showtime.
Roar. Roar.
Colonel Ironsides here. 200 years I stood in the gap, fighting those who would harm my country. It was my honor, my sacred duty, so help me God. 9 times they took my life. 9 times I stood back up and made them pay. The freedom fighter I could handle anything, but someone betrayed me. I was ambushed, made mortal, rendered powerless, and retired. They passed an amendment and made me a civilian before I left the hospital. For 50 years I watched my country change. Watched this work while erasing me from history. The day I quit my job, I powered up and discovered they lied about that too. I'll remind them of freedom. I'll remind them of duty. I'll remind them of their oaths and who they serve. I'll remind them while I'm shoving it down their throats.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the brand new show, Character Autopsy, the show that takes them apart and see what makes them tick. Lately there's been controversy. Anthony Mackie the other day made a statement that some found extremely rage-inducing. As a matter of fact, even the people that defend him and say that he was taken out of context do say that what he said was extraordinarily stupid, and he was talking about Captain America, and he said that Captain America stands for a lot of things, but America is not necessarily one of them. I believe that's a direct quote, but anyway, so today, what's up, Wook? What's up, man? But anyway, today I thought we'd talk about Captain America from my very first autopsy. I had was trying to find some animations for like drawers and stuff like that to break it up and everything, but I just ran out of time. But first of all, if you've been on my channel or if you know my philosophies, then you know that I believe that primarily there's 2 types of character, okay? And one's pulp and one's noir. Now, a lot of people conflate those two, but they can't be any more different. I've got a show list of 4 shows where I talk about this. But in a short thumbnail, pulp characters have some supernatural elements to them. They have a definite moral compass. Whether that's good or bad is irrelevant, but they have a definite moral code. And for the most part, they skew kind of like on the honorable side. Okay, now noir characters, they don't have a discernible moral code, which, depending on your style or what you desire in a character, can make for kind of a character that just goes with the flow, doesn't seem to have a permanent stand on anything. And so the first question we're going to ask is Captain America Steve Rogers version. The Steve Rogers is going to be the one we talk about tonight. Is he pulp or is he noir? Well, I think he's very firmly definitely a pulp character. Okay. Well, he's a lot of the times he is portrayed visually as a blonde hair, blue-eyed, all-American looking guy, around 6'2", 220. That's one dimension that I saw in him. It seems to be primarily around that size, but he didn't start out that way naturally. And they portrayed this very well in the movie Captain America: First Avenger. It's actually one of the best. It's the best origin story, I think, in the MCU. But let me. I did get some clips on it, and let me play that for you right now. I think it's really sums him up. It's to get us started.
You don't need a lot of courage to fight against the enemy if you have super strength. However, things are totally different in case you have only poor health and a fragile body. Luckily, Steve Rogers certainly had a heart 10 times his size, even before his transformation. He never ran away from a fight.
You start running, they'll never let you stop.
And when Rogers met a bully, he refused to give up.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
The interesting fact is that Steve used a garbage can lid as a shield to protect himself until he was knocked over. Fortunately, Bucky Barnes came on time and saved his friend. This moment shows us Steve Rogers' persistence and impressive will.
Okay, now in the comic, it's not that much different from that. But in the comic, of course, Bucky's not his bigger friend. Bucky's actually a young man that he kind of like makes his protege later. But what this does show is that he had the character in him all along, and that's very much like the comic. The comic was written by Joe Simon. The first one was written by Joe Simon and drawn by the great King Kirby, Jack Kirby. And it was put out in 1940. Okay. Hold on a second. Blonde hair, blue-eyed white boy. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I hate him. A whole rabbit. Yep. Yeah, that might be one reason that they keep trying to destroy him right now is, yeah, he is a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white boy. That's all some people will even see him as. But 1940, the World War II was on, and he became kind of like the embodiment of America's fighting men. There's a very famous cover of him punching Hitler. A lot of people, there's been a lot of like homage covers to that ever since. Anyway, what's up, Ike? I guess we'll bring this guy on. Welcome to the show, Wookie.
Hey.
Hey. Anyway.
Hey. I thought I'd barge in and say hello.
Oh, okay. Well, hello. Thanks for visiting.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, if I continue with the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I started out muted.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so he kind of became the embodiment of the American fighting spirit. And one of the very interesting features that of Captain America was he had a shield. Now, most people that have like apparatuses that they're known for, most of the time the weapons are offensive. Okay. And very rarely will you see a superhero whose primary weapon is a defensive one. And I really looked for a kind of like summation as to why that is. But Joe Simon never really established why he did. But he started out with like a shield that looks like a knight's shield. And so I'm going to make the assumption that because of Steve Rogers being kind of like a knight in shining armor, kind of like a guy who had that chivalry about him, that maybe they wanted to make him a modern day knight. And because the first shield did look a lot like a knight's shield from Middle Ages. But then later on, Jack Kirby had the brilliant idea of making it round, and it became more of an offensive weapon than the first shield did. And it's become iconic, as the character. You can't have Captain America without the shield, right?
Exactly.
Hello, Wenger. Hell. What's up? But the thing that makes Steve Rogers in particular a very compelling character is the fact that even as a shrimpy guy, he was bound and determined to join the army. And this was in the comics. This was not only in the movie, but it was in the comics too.
He wanted to contribute to the defense of his country.
Yeah, exactly. So this was somebody in the movie. Dr. Erskine put it this way: that he wasn't looking for the outward characteristic. He was looking for somebody that had a good heart and that was courageous, that was a hero already, because he could transform the body, but he needed a character there in the first place. All right, let me go ahead and play this. Like I said, the movie did such a brilliant job. I can't really do any better than this. So this during the military training, some things came out that really summed up who Steve Rogers is as a man at his very core. Let me show this right quick.
We are going to win this war because we have the best men.
A super soldier should have attributes beyond the physical, including courage and astuteness. During the training at the military facility, Steve proved that he has both of them. He was the only soldier who managed to take down a flag from the top of a pole. In addition, Steve dived on a dummy grenade, ready to sacrifice his life to save others.
Get away! Get back!
These moments prove you don't need superpowers to be a superhero.
He's still skinny.
Who did they use for the body double for him in those scenes?
I don't know.
Do we even know?
I don't know
who that person was?
No, we don't. I have a hunch it was a kid.
Because obviously they CG'd his face in there.
Yeah, right.
And everything, but the body, had to be somebody. Obviously a physical human actor.
Right. Right. Well, but one thing, the reason why that movie still resonates with people, especially people who love Captain America, was it kind of like that scene, especially when he throws the grenade down and he's the only one that jumped on it. That just pretty much like it sums up his primary characteristic. His primary characteristic is self-sacrifice. And
saving others, self-sacrifice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say this. This might sound a little controversial, but when it comes to like the primary heroic character of universes, I think Captain America is a better hero than Superman. And the reason I say that is because Captain America, when you look at his power set, now they beefed it up a little bit for the movie, but primarily he is a ordinary human, but like at the peak of human performance. And all it did was like give him a boost up to the strongest possible that a human body can be, or the fastest, the most flexible. But all it did was give him that advantage. It didn't make him invulnerable. Right. And so, that shield kind of evens things out quite a bit. But for the most part, if he jumps on a grenade, that's it. That's all she wrote. But it won't prevent him from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And even all the way, recent years they've just destroyed him as a character. But primarily he is the kind of guy that jumps on the grenade.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 second. He's still skinny. Yeah, that's such a great line. Tommy Lee Jones was perfect for that role. He
did a great job in that role. It's good to see him in that movie.
Yeah. But basically he started out as a skinny and he was orphaned pretty young, and he kind of raised himself on the streets of Brooklyn, and he basically defended himself against bullies, and he's this tiny little shrimpy guy, and so his life wasn't easy in any way, shape, or form, and yet here he was when the call came to be a soldier. He volunteered, and in the movie, he kept volunteering, even though there's no way in hell he was going to get through. But in the basically in the comic, they looked at him and they're like, okay, well, that guy can't be a soldier, but he might be perfect for this program. And Erskine picked him out, and then he was giving the serum, the super soldier serum, which was proprietary. He's the only one that got the real thing before Erskine was killed. But essentially, Erskine, he did develop it in Germany first, and created the Red Skull. And then realized how he screwed up and how he'd done something horrific. And Steve was kind of like his way of fixing that. Right. I don't know if it's parallel to what happened in the comics, but for the most part, he made the outside match the inside. I do have that scene. Once again, I don't think you can get better than this. But this actually is very accurate to the comic, because he did get orally, he did get injections, and then he did get like bombarded by Vita rays, and
right.
And so that did happen in the comic exactly like this. This is very accurate to the comic right here.
Yeah.
Although Steve Rogers had the spirit of a real hero, he managed to become Captain America only after the injection with the super soldier serum.
That wasn't so bad.
That was penicillin.
During the experiment, Steve was screaming in pain. But when Peggy Carter and Erskine wanted to stop the process, Rogers asked them not to cease it.
No! Don't! I can do this!
As soon as the Vita-Ray chamber opened, everyone saw Steve in his perfect body.
How'd you feel?
Taller.
No doubt, it was a pivotal moment in Steve's life, which provided the MCU with one of the most popular superheroes.
Son of a bitch.
Nice way to clip that one. Tommy Lee Jones, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch did it. Yeah. Like I said, perfect for that role.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, Cruel, what's up, dude? Good to see you, buddy.
Cool. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, the outside now matched the inside. Haley Atwell is a brilliant actress, and she actually improvised that moment where you didn't see the clip of it, but when she was like first seeing him like step out of the chamber, she has this moment where she kind of like wants to reach out and touch a pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
And she pulls herself back,
Apparently, according to what I was reading, she had not seen him before that scene at all.
Yeah.
And they kind of set it up that way to get her actual reaction. So what you're seeing on film is almost exactly a real reaction to her surprise of seeing him all buffed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant actress. She really is. She did a really great job. I just got done watching Godzilla -1. It was pure quality. We told you.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
We told you that you would
yeah.
love it. But anyway, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's your show.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Cruel if he saw the dubbed version or the subtitled version. Both are good.
Yeah. Yeah. The dub version is very good. Very good.
Yes, it is.
But you know, when you drill down on who Captain America is, what you get is like you know, patriotism at its very core.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He absolutely loves the country, and there's a really famous line where he somebody from the government tries to like claim him as like you work for us, and he basically tells them, I don't work for you, I work for the American people.
There you go.
You know, I serve the flag, I don't serve you.
Yep.
And that's pretty much sums up that, you know, government changes, you know, regimes come in, regimes go out, but Captain America is always going to serve the American people, serve the Constitution, serve the flag.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the controversies right now over what Anthony Mackie said, and I think the point was made, I thought it was a good point, that he was talking to a foreign crowd and he's trying to convince them to come see this movie. Girl says English dubbed. I recognize some voices from other things. Brilliant film. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good. But, you know, Anthony Mackie was talking to like a foreign audience. He was trying to convince them that this was their movie too, that he was trying to get them to interested in it. But the disdain in his tone when he said America's, you know, that Captain America stands for a lot of things, and America's not. He doesn't think America's one of them. Now,
yeah, that's not a good look.
Not a good look at all. No. And you know, even if he just said it wrong or misstepped, the bottom line is that proves that once and for all, that even though he's playing Captain America, he doesn't understand Captain America.
No, he doesn't.
Because Captain America, he stands for America.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Biden's in charge or Trump's in charge. That's irrelevant to Captain America, because he's always going to follow his conscience. He's always going to do what's best for the country and for its people. That's who he serves. In his head, he's the shield of America. Okay.
I know it's the wrong character, but the thing that rings out in my mind the most is this phrase, this opening line in a TV show, Superman, back in the 50s: truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah.
The American way is you don't give up. You look the odds may be against you, but you don't give up.
Yeah.
You keep on fighting, you keep on going. And that's kind of what Captain America was doing. It's like, you saw those clips of the young, skinny Steve Rogers not giving up, getting the crap knocked out of him, but he still gets up.
Yeah.
And it's striving through adversity,
Yeah. Well, see, one of the things that I had a problem with Anthony Mackie was he continued on. He was probably trying to clean it up, but he even went worse, because after that he was talking about how he believed that he didn't necessarily stand for America, but he's this honorable guy, and he listed all these attributes, which are attributes that are like a pure American, attributes. Right. What's up? Not Brian. Good to see you, man.
Brian, welcome.
Well, anyway, but the attributes that he was listing are the attributes of Captain America, are attributes of Steve Rogers, and and because once again proving that he has a disconnect between those knowing what America is and what it stands for, and that Mark Millar has his Mark Miller. I call him Millar. I'll call him Millar from now on, because there's too many Millers in the world with Miller that I gotta differentiate him. Okay, there's Frank Miller, and then there's Mark Millar, so that's the way I differentiate.
Right, there you go.
But anyway, but he had this moment in where he was just defrosted, he's just brought back, and somebody was like, accusing him like of cowardice, and he like kicked him in the face, and he's like pointed to the A. He says, "Do you think this A stands for France?"
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things I didn't like about the Ultimate Universe, but that was a great line. But basically, he's somebody who is like, he's not necessarily, he's not jingoistic. Okay, jingoistic means, I'm sorry, it's a big word. Let me explain what the word is. Jingoistic doesn't mean that he's going to defend America when America's in the wrong. It's like if America's screwing up or if America's doing evil things, he's not going to stand. He's not like a Democrat, defending the Democrat Party when they do horrific things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not who he is. Because he's not party affiliated. He's not governmentally like rubber stamp. And as a matter of fact, multiple times throughout his career, he's actually left the role of Captain America because it became politicized and became a football. And so he left.
And that when he became Nomad?
Yeah, he became Nomad at one point. They became the captain at another point. And when John Walker was, Captain America for a little while. Hold on 1 second. Millar, people really need to know how to spell. I think Millar is his actual spelling, but large words, huh? Right. But essentially, what you got is with him is that he believes in what America stands for. He believes in like the idea of America, in the promise of America, the freedom of America, and because of that, it makes him immune from ideological changes. It makes him immune from orders that he doesn't agree with. He's not a soldier per se. At least he's not a soldier to be commanded. He's Captain America, and he's gonna address his conscience, okay, first and foremost, and basically he's gonna what is that noise, dude? That's driving me crazy.
I'm sorry. I keep bumping my mic, and I have just moving it around to get it out of the way. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was so sensitive. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's really crazy. Really driving me crazy.
Sorry.
Anyway, no big deal. But anyway, so the primary like attribute of him is that patriotism, that pure patriotism, in that it's not that he is like America, rah, rah, rah. Okay. But basically it's like the idea of America, the concept of America, the promise of America, the people of America. That's who his loyalty is to. And that is his conscience. What's found in the Bill of Rights. That's his conscience. And anything that like goes against that, he's not going to be on board for.
No, not at all.
And so that's one thing that when Mr. Mackey, separated that off, that proved to me that he had no idea of what America really stands for. And he's been raised with all this communism shoved down his throat, and the enclaves, of Hollywood. I mean, where's he going to get actual patriotism or actual history of what this country really means? All he's getting is CRT shoved up his butt. Okay, basically school system is like, hate whitey, hate whitey, hate whitey, hate whitey.
Yeah,
that's all he's hearing. That's all he's hearing his entire life. And so, of course, he's going to have those things disassociated. That's what he was trained. That's how he was raised. So, but if he had actual writers and people who understood Captain America to write for it, then maybe he could have learned it that way. But if it's the same writers he had in Falcon and Winter Soldier, those people are god awful. Okay, I mean, incompetent. But when we talk about the character of Captain America, the character, one of the challenges. Okay, this is going to be something I like to talk about when I do these autopsies. America can be summed up in one word. Yeah. The foothills of the Himalayas. I think you're talking about, I think that's a quote from Joe Biden. I'm not sure. Anyway. All right. But basically, if you want to know where he's going to land, then he's always going to land a certain way. And the challenge of writing that is you can't make him predictable. And so when you see bad writers get a hold of Captain America, They think they've got to give him edges. They think they've got to give him like a dark side or you know, make him like bloodthirsty or something like that.
When they destroyed him in the comics, it made him into a Hydra agent. Like, what the heck?
Right. We'll miss those gaffes. Well, you'll miss those gaffes, but we won't. We will not miss his gaffes. Trust me. Yeah, if you lived under his policies, you would not miss that man. Anyway.
Oh man.
Or the policies of whoever was controlling him. We still don't know who that was.
The puppet master.
There you go. But that's a challenge of writing somebody like Captain America. Is that is if you don't understand how interesting a man of principle can be, then you'll think you've got to like rough him up or to damage some of those principles or make him compromise himself in some way, shape, or form to make him interesting. You see this all the time these days, especially with the deconstruction era brought in by people like Mark Millar and the British, invasion or the British infestation, which is what I call it.
You know what? They're a little bit better than the freaking Tren de la Agua. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Not much.
Oh,
they've done enough. They did to the comic, comics what the Tren de la Agua did to Colorado, apartment complexes.
Apartment complexes, yeah.
They came in and screwed up the whole place and dominated it and ruined it.
Like our past administration.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But
anyway,
the problem is when you go to write a character like that, the only way you can write them interesting is if you like them, you appreciate them, and you respect them. And for too long, Captain America has been in the hands of people who don't have any of those things.
Another case in point, not to deviate, but look what they did to the Punisher.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing Punisher tonight, so that is a deviation.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Well, deconstruction, though, it's a cancer that infected comics. And the problem with taking characters who are men of honor, men of character, pulp characters, Pulp, the Pulp versus War. You listen to those shows, and yeah, Hollywood is a cancer, right?
Yes, it is.
But when you take a character that, at its fundamental core, has a set of morals that cannot be changed, cannot be altered. If that's at this person's core, then if you have them compromise that, you're no longer writing that character anymore.
Right.
And that is where the real issue comes in. When you got a character like Captain America, if you write a character that can compromise his values at his very core, you broke the character. If he's somebody like Captain America. And so that's the challenge, the writing challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You want examples of strong men, would we? Shaking my head. No, you wouldn't. And that's one of the issues that people had at the end game. Why Captain America would throw it all away to go live with Peggy in the past. He wouldn't. That was a fundamental breaking of the character. Mm-hmm. And because they wanted to pass the shield to Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
And which was a fundamental breaking of that character. Okay. And and basically by doing that, they screwed up all the way around. Okay, now a lot is made. A lot of it. A lot of people like to make a lot of the fact that Captain America had his big sleep, and that he went from the 40s, to modern day, and so a lot of people like to make something of that because he was born in the 40s, that that made him who he is, and so the only reason that he's a man of character, a man of morals, and a man who has that definitive moral code is because he grew up in a different era where that was prevalent. Now, what that does is say that those qualities are not found in anybody in modern times. And that's why I have a big problem with them following that narrative. So a person like Steve Rogers is going to be that guy, even if he was born in the 90s. Okay. Now, granted, that generation, the greatest generation, they did have a sense of duty and honor that we don't have now. Now, granted,
absolutely.
But a man of character can still exist in this day and age, born in modern times. And so, if I'm writing Captain America, I don't like make that the big thing or the most important thing about the character, because it's basically background noise. Okay. Yeah, he's a man out of time, and he's trying to find his way around this modern world. And they really did a good job with that, with the whole list thing where he was writing things down on the pad. And, or trying, Black Widow trying to set him up with women with a nose ring. And he's like, I'm not ready for that.
Not reached that level yet.
She asked him if he had plans on Friday night, and he's like, "Well, my whole entire barbershop quartet is dead now." So so granted, it's a good, it's really, it's a really fun thing to write, and they wrote these books. Those all three of those movies are just the best. They are really good. I highly recommend all the three of the Captain America movies. The Civil War definitely had moments where, when he was like holding the copter, when he's trying to keep the copter from taking off, and he held it in one place. That was a little OP for Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers isn't superhuman, but for the most part, they did a good job. That whole entire sequence where he's like, "I like you, kid. Where are you from?" And he's like, "Queens." He's like, "Brooklyn." That was a very Steve Rogers thing. Steve Rogers thing.
Nice.
But see, that's the thing, what I tend to do about these character autopsies is break down how you can write a character with authenticity. Okay. And what you have to do is you have to find the core truth of the character. The Pulp versus Noire thing is very essentially to that. If at their very core, if they're a man of character, then you can basically know that when you write them, that's something that can't be compromised. Okay.
Right.
That's a core truth of the character. Even if you're writing a villain that's a pulp character, then you can't have the villain like compromise his moral code. Like Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom has a moral code. Dr. Doom is, he's trying to like conquer the world, but because he feels like he's the best person to rule it. You know, and so at his core, he's not trying to destroy the world; he's trying to conquer it and rule it. And so at his very core, he's not like a supervillain just wanting to watch the world burn. He's not Joker. And so it's important to know that he has that core. And I may do a character autopsy on Dr. Doom one of these days. But, you know, back to Captain America.
Right.
But basically, one of the things that I think is very important is the patriotism is not like a thing, it's the thing. And patriotism has been like painted as some sort of zealotry, has been painted as some sort of like negative character trait. Yeah, because of populism is kind of like become is an ugly word, you know,
or nationalism,
right? And so if you believe in like a flag, and you believe in like the history of your country and the superiority of your country, that hurts the globalist ideal.
Yeah.
And communists are not into pushing that. And it's one of the main reasons why Captain America can't be written these days with any kind of consistency. Because patriotism is like the vital core of Captain America and who he is.
Yeah, patriotism goes beyond any political affiliation.
Exactly.
It's, you know, and that's where in modern times people get sidetracked because, oh, you're a patriot, oh, you're a this, that, or you're this or that or whatever.
Yeah, when did that become a political party?
Exactly, and it's not.
It's not.
Basically, patriotism is love for one's country and its values at its core.
Right.
And what sets us apart from other countries is our foundation in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights specifically.
Yeah.
No other country in the world has a Bill of Rights.
And
Steve Rogers, Captain America, is in love with that great experiment, America. And so the flag, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our way of life is all rooted in that core of patriotism or nationalism, if you want to call it that, you know?
And he will die before he lets the flag fall. He would die before he allows anybody to take away freedoms. And that includes the government. That includes the U.S. government, which he does not see as part of America. And
we're seeing that in real time right now in these hearings.
Hey, AC Michaels, found your channel recently. Really enjoyed learning from your take on Pulp versus Noire. I've had a hard-boiled detective short story coming out. Really helped me to understand my characters. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That's cool.
That's why I have it there.
That's cool.
If you're patriotic, you're probably far right. Shaking my head. Yeah. Exactly. You have to. So if you want to write a character, like I have my Ironsides. My Ironsides character, he was here when the country was founded. Okay. He was there when they wrote the Constitution, wrote the Bill of Rights. He believes in that Declaration of Independence, can recite it, but basically he has a split loyalty that Captain America doesn't have, because he has a loyalty also to the powered people, to their welfare. And so that in that way, it's different from Steve Rogers. So all characters will have their own thing. And for Steve Rogers, the thing will always be that he is first and foremost an American patriot.
Absolutely.
That is, you know, when Mr. Mackey the other day misspoke, even if you don't believe he had the wrong intent, when he misspoke and said that Captain America, you know, stands for a lot of things, and America is not one of them, he fundamentally misunderstood what America actually means. And especially to Steve.
Yeah.
And to Sam. Okay.
Yeah,
and Sam
absolutely.
Wilson in the comic books and up to now, Sam Wilson has been a patriot. You know, he was a ex-army guy, you know, and he fought in the wars and he's got the scars. And so even if you slap a coat of Captain America paint on him, you know, if he doesn't understand fundamentally that he's there to represent America and what America stands for and what America means, then that movie's going to suck.
Yeah.
Because Captain America has to stand for America. Has to.
Right.
To be Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. And not some political party or some special interest that might try to sway you with millions of dollars.
Well, it's like essentially if somebody were to tell Captain America such and such got voted into, they're now president. Basically, Captain America would say, well, until they give me orders that are contrary to the health of America, what's that got to do with me?
Yep, exactly.
He's a man. He has to be an island unto himself, an island of patriotism, an island of freedom, and an island of the founding fathers' philosophies. Okay, it's in the name. Yeah, it's in the name.
It's kind of in the name. Yeah, Captain America.
That's kind of like a AOC asking. I can't remember who it was, but no, it was Holman. Holman, you know, you know, it's like a. Why do you? Why are you thinking that these undocumented immigrants, you know, are illegal? He's like, well, it's there in the name, illegal immigrants.
Illegal.
They're illegal.
Yeah,
it's in the name.
We're technically the only country in the world, maybe outside of Britain, that's going on right now, that if someone were to come into the country illegally, we're the only ones that gives them, well, under the Biden administration, gave them all kinds of favors and privileges that not even the citizens get. Yet other countries, like, holy crap, I mean, North Korea will kill you.
Yeah.
On site.
Well, Mexico won't let you go in unless you have papers.
Yeah, if you don't have an ID, proper ID, you ain't coming in. And if you do come in, you get to visit a very crappy jail. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, a lot of countries don't put up with that crap. They don't put up with people coming over and violating their sovereignty, which is
the thing you have to understand about America, and this is something that Steve Rogers understands, is that we are a country that was built on immigration. It was built on bringing people in and making them Americans from all walks of life, all across the world. And assimilation, it's called the melting pot.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he would be all about, you know, people coming to this country and becoming citizens. He would consider them under his purview.
I look at this analogy. America's a melting pot. This is how great this country is. I can go over and get a breakfast burrito, have a pizza for lunch, and end up having chicken masala for dinner.
Right.
What, I mean, 3 different ethnic meals from all over the freaking world. I can get them in one country. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's more to that. And
we need to stop scheduling stuff when you're hungry.
Well, it is dinner time.
You always bring up stuff like that when you're hungry.
Well,
Anyway,
it's an analogy.
It is.
So.
Okay. So it's basically before we close the drawer on Captain America today. Can you get a bottle of Embrew? No, didn't think so. Well, if it's in the country, we can get a bottle of it.
I can't find a bottle of it yet. I'm looking.
Well, look on Amazon. Anyway, okay. So before when we close the drawer, we're going to close the drawer on Steve Rogers, and basically, if I want to make a conclusion here, is you cannot divorce Steve Rogers, Captain America, from the America part. You can't do it. Because if you do it, you fundamentally break that character. If you do it,
you can't separate Steve Rogers from Captain America. They're one and the same.
Yeah,
and that's where that's where the principles are.
Yeah, if you turn him into, if you break that part of his character, if you divorce him from the America part of his character, he might as well be a Steve Jones or
exactly.
A Steve Smith or a Steve Brown or something like that.
John Doe or some.
You make him an entirely different character.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You change his essential what makes him who he is. And a pulp character. If you have a pulp character like Steve Rogers is, then there are things that you cannot do to that character, or you will break it, and you'll make him entirely something else if you do that. And there's a lot of characters out there like Superman. Superman's a pulp character. You cannot Batman, yes. Yep. But you cannot change anything about that core truth of them, or you break the character. And Captain America's core truth is the A does not stand for France.
Yep, exactly.
And so when we're closing the drawer on Captain America today, that is the bottom line. Sorry, what's his name? Just flew out of my head.
Millar?
No, the guy that played Captain America in Captain America 4. What's his name again?
Mackie.
Okay.
Anthony Mackie.
Okay. So I know he's not going to watch this, and that's fine. But Anthony, you cannot divorce Captain America from the America part.
Yep.
You can't do it.
Nope.
And so maybe next time when somebody asks you that question, just say that it's there in the name. Captain America. It's there in the name. That's a good hint. Anyway. Well, all right. So thank you all for coming to my first Character Autopsy show. I hope it's going to be helpful. If you have any kind of characters that aren't so obscure that if I do it, nobody's going to know who it is, like the Human Fly.
One guy popular in the late 70s. Come on.
No, he wasn't. Nobody knows who that dude
Wide
is.
World of Sports.
Nobody knows who that dude is.
Hanging off of an airplane.
Well, so
got like 6 comics written about him.
Okay, 6 comics. Yeah, he's that popular. 6 comics, really? Out of thousands and thousands and thousands. All right, anyway. All right. Well, that's a good possibility. Frank Castle. He's a complicated one.
Yep. The Punisher. Yep.
Well, I've got a few of them. That were suggested to me.
There you go.
One guy suggested a character to me of his own comic that is not currently out.
Ooh.
How the hell am I going to do a character autopsy on a comic character?
He's throwing you a curveball to your head. What the hell?
No, that guy spams people all the time about his comic. So
spam,
basically
spam.
Anyway, but I mean, I could do anybody. Alan Quartermain is one that I've always been fascinated by. I might do at some point. But I can basically do characters from all across history, all across genres. You know, if I can like research them and get some kind of idea of them.
Just not too heavily obscure characters, right? Okay.
Yeah. But try to give me somebody.
I gave you 3, and 2 of them are very not obscure. Okay.
Okay. All right.
One of them you actually wrote, I think you actually wrote a short story about.
Yeah, I did actually. I've written several stories. Anyway. Yep. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to the fluffiest chat. James Bond. It'll have to be Ian Fleming's James Bond.
Yes, Ian Fleming's.
But basically, when I go to autopsy a character, it's going to have to be specifically a certain, like, if there's like a book series on him, or if there's a movie that's different from the movie series, I'll have to choose between the movie series or the book series.
Comic book, or the Why Roll the Sports event, or the
right. So if I go Batman, I have to decide if I'm going to do the comic book version or the Dark Knight.
And then how many versions are in the comic too? Because Batman, I mean, you've got the Dark Knight series, you've got
right.
Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff.
There are some fundamental things that I can do. So essentially, I have to look for the purest form of that character that I can get.
Yeah.
And so
probably going to be more close to the original than anything else.
Yeah.
The original version.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But anyway, so tonight I got Faint Castle, James Bond. I will put them into the queue, and I'll probably have I probably put when I get enough of them, I'll probably put a poll up, and have
there
people.
You go.
But tomorrow night, actually Saturday night, we're not doing Cryptids and Conspiracies because Doofus is out of town.
I am what's the word I'm looking for? I am indisposed.
I think whipped
on Saturday night.
I think whipped. I'm going to say whipped.
It's a free dinner at
anyway.
An expensive restaurant. Don't tell me that.
All right. Anyway, so we're moving it to Saturday night, and we're doing the Skinwalker.
Yes.
So very interested in that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old Skinwalker.
Trying to sort through all the information out there. So a fire hose.
There's a lot of it too. There's a lot of stuff that's you can go down a rabbit hole sideways on for sure. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what the show's about, right?
I know, right? It's the name of the channel.
That's what my channel is. It's my channel.
It's in the name.
All right. Duh. Anyway. All right. Well, that's so. We'll see you all Sunday night, and thank you
everybody
all for
in the chat. Have a great evening.
Yep.
Not Brian, Cruel, etc.
Yep.
I like Ike, and then Frank, or not Frank, Wrangler, and everybody.
All right, the usual crew. Anyway, all right.
Good crew.
Okay, we'll see you Sunday night, and bye everybody.
Thank you.